Welcome to Crack Course History. Last week we talked about the pre-application of meta-nostalgic alienation and its implications on meta-misinformative hypercomplacency in the real world, though we struggled to hypothesize the etymology of anti-hypocrisy and hyperallergenic giraffe byproducts. This week, we'll shift our discussion to the road. More specifically, we want to explore what Cormac McCarthy is trying to reveal about dystopias, but more importantly, the world we live in today. The Road, a book about how a father and son navigate on a journey south through a post-apocalyptic world where other humans resort to cannibalism for survival, certainly highlights some of the worst parts of humanity. It makes us question the fine line of morality when it comes to survival. Ultimately, The Road shines a light on dehumanization, a prevalent theme in dystopian literature. One of the most obvious displays of dehumanization comes with how McCarthy names the characters. The names, the man and the boy, are the only identifiers of the main characters we see in the novel. In this way, the characters lose their identity in the eyes of the reader. As we, the reader, classify our relationships with people via names, we can't attach the man and the boy to people. In fact, it becomes difficult to humanize them. Also, the way McCarthy describes people in the dystopic novel highlight the theme of dehumanization. When the man and the boy meet an old man on the road, he is described as on the verge of death, and the boy is giving him food appears like someone trying to feed a vulture broken in the road. Additionally, when the man and the boy come across a group of cannibals on the road, the boy asks, will they know what we are? And the use of this pronoun what, instead of who, when referring to him and his father, shows that the boy already sees him and his father as things or animals, not as people. The Road is painting a desolate picture of the world where humanity ceases to exist. Through his unmistakable prose and narrative style, McCarthy tells us that once we are put in apocalyptic scenarios, we dehumanize others, while also losing our own humanity. If you liked today's video, make sure to check out last week's video, and if you really liked it, make sure to subscribe and press the
Is this guy muted or something? What the heck?
Oh, sorry there, students. Seem to be on mute. Having trouble figuring out these new fangled computer things the school's been giving us. Well, you all know why we're here. Let's go ahead and get started. Our first example of contemporary dehumanization is the Central American migrant caravans. These caravans are composed of thousands of primarily Hondurans and Guatemalans that are fleeing poverty and strife, which may or may not have been caused by United States activities, but I digress. Well, let's see. I had some more bullet points. Not sure where they went. My my TA has made this PowerPoint for me. Not really sure how to use it here. Let's see. Up. Just got to click the button. All right. Well, yeah. So most notably was a caravan which occurred in 2018, which was a midterm election year during the Trump administration. And President Trump was quoted as saying, "This is an invasion of our country, and our military is waiting for you." And Trump dehumanized these migrants, many of whom were women and children, by referring to them as an invasion. And even really, the word caravan itself is somewhat dehumanizing. Makes it seem like there's an object, just a mass of people all coming towards the United States at once, rather than considering their individual issues. But moving on, let's see. Oh, what was that? Yeah, I'm not sure if I like that. Make me feel a little woozy, but moving on. Second example is pandemic-fueled Asian American hate. I'd like to call your attention to the work of a Dr. Russell Jung. And let's see, getting the hang of this now. Yep. He's a professor of Asian American Studies at San Francisco State University. He conducted a survey which recorded over 1,500 accounts of anti-Asian racism in the United States in the span of 1 month. And he's quoted as saying that a lot of times physical assaults, instances of racism, included being spat upon and coughed at. So rather dehumanizing these Asian Americans by comparing them, to the source of the virus, or potentially even the virus itself at sometimes, potentially as a means of individuals gaining power and using the Asian Americans as a scapegoat for their circumstances. Whoa. Nope, that's not doing it on the vertigo there. Whew. All right, wear glasses. Need a little breather there. Whew. Oh boy. All right, coming back now. Whew. Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna be needing to have some strong words with my TA there about these transitions. I'm not liking those. Not good for my my old vertigo there. But let's try and get through this. So our third example is Chinese government's treatment of the Tibetan people, where much of Tibet wishes to govern itself and follow the Buddhist teachings of the Dalai Lama. The Chinese government, which is authoritarian and also atheist, opposes this idea. So they've set up a surveillance state in Tibet, and some of their legislation is as follows. They have instituted comprehensive rectification. They'll allow no cracks, no shadows, and no gaps left. And they want every village to be a fortress and everyone to be a watchman. So a little bit of dystopia on Earth there. And really a lot of this dehumanization of the Tibetan people comes from the sentiment in the Chinese government that the Tibetans are an inferior race of beings. So, oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah, this one's more my speed. Everything's laid out nicely. Yeah, I like this slide. Okay, well, we've got some connections to The Handmaid's Tale here. One of my favorite dystopian works. So in The Handmaid's Tale, let's see, we've got Offred, her humanity's taken away. She's being dehumanized when she's reduced to a singular purpose, which is childbearing. She's quoted as saying, I used to think of my body as an instrument of pleasure, or a means of transportation, or an implement for the accomplishments of my will. Now the flesh arranges itself indifferently. I'm a cloud congealed around a central object, the shape of a pear, which is hard and more real than I am and glows red within its translucent wrapping. Well, we can see here how Offred has been conditioned to objectify or dehumanize herself in a way because of the purpose that she's been given. She's only allowed to bear children, basically. And so from this, we can see a connection that really it doesn't require a dystopia for a particular group, whether it's Asian Americans, Tibetans, Central Americans, or even all women, to be dehumanized when there's an oppressor which stands to gain power from their dehumanization. Well, that's about it. Here's my sources there, class, that my TA got for me. So I'll see you next time.
So today we're going to be furthering our discussion of politics, but more specifically, we're going to be looking at how dehumanization is used as a political strategy. One of the pioneering politicians of this is Newt Gingrich, who you can see over here. Let's write out his name. Newt Gingrich. Newt Gingrich. Now, you may remember his unsuccessful run for Republican nomination for president in 2012, but he is most well known for serving as 50th Speaker of the United States House of Representatives during the 1990s. There, he took the floor to accuse Democrats of corruption and sometimes called his fellow legislators by name and asked them to respond to his accusations. Eventually, he grew to become a pioneer of using personal attacks in Congress. Many argue that this was a key moment when partisanship got polarized. Polarization. Now, we can see much of the same strategies being used by former President Donald Trump. Actually, let's use a different color here. Donald Trump. Oops, it looks like we made a little error there. Hold on one second. When it comes to contentious issues, Mr. Trump favors dehumanizing language to further polarization, at times strengthening his own following. Let's write out this relationship. And let's switch colors to purple here. Dehumanizing language. As an example, let's write out a quote said by Mr. Trump. These aren't people. These are animals. To better illustrate the concept of dehumanization, let's draw a quick graph. So let's draw our axes here and label them X and Y, the independent and dependent variable. But actually, we're going to change this for this specific instance. So on the x-axis, let's label that conflicts today. And for our y-axis, let's label that dehumanizing rhetoric. And you can see that once we draw the graph here, that there is a relationship. Now you may be asking, what type of relationship is this? Let's change colors. Right here, this is a positive relationship. Now, all that being said, I hope that shines a light on the topic of dehumanization in politics. See you next lecture.
This video, me and myself play a new game called Minecraft Dehumanization, where we explore different scenarios and learn how we justify our actions by dehumanizing others. Also, a small percentage of people that watch my videos are subscribed, so if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind later. Enjoy! Today, we're going to be looking at the ethics of Minecraft. and more specifically, how we dehumanize. Let me demonstrate. As you can see here, when I'm killing this zombie, I don't really feel any empathy towards it, because I don't think of it as a human. I already naturally dehumanized the zombie. Now let's apply that same outlook, but with Billy, my chicken. He's been with me my entire Minecraft life, and it's very difficult for me to kill him. However, as you can see, my hunger bar is very low, and I am hungry. You know what they say, you're not you when you're hungry. Now that I'm in this dire situation of hunger, little Billy here is no longer my Minecraft friend, but he is my food.
Now that I've dehumanized him, it's easier to kill. Overall, as you can see, once we are put in dire situations, we dehumanize, so it's easier for us to do things we otherwise feel we couldn't. Again, make sure to smash that like button and hit the notification bell. It's been a time, my slimes. See you next time.